Hey YouTube, it's Shaker here, and we're bringing you another one. I'm a digital artist who likes to watch movies with the people, and today we are about to review Silo Season 2, Episode 6. Oh yes. Oh yes. So I'm very excited. Finally, I was able to watch. I was able to watch it last night. I even wrote my notes last night, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna record." And I was like, "No, I am not. No, I am not." Plus, I needed to watch the last 2 episodes of Secret Level because I'm doing a ranking for Secret Level. So I was like, all right, let me just watch those, and then at least I'll be ready to record all. I have 3 videos I got to record today. So I got this one, and I got 2 more ones. The other 2 is easier than this because this is like information. The other one is just opinion and feeling. So you know how that goes. Okay, talk about feeling. First of all, if you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. And yes, I do have my coffee. And we got the little coffee girl on the coffee breaks because I'm just I be needing my coffee. Listen, y'all understand. Okay, so talking about feeling. Overall, it's like a filler episode, and like I said it last week. Last week's and this week is probably going to be a filler episode, and they were. Last week was a lot more fun, or a lot more like more information, but this one was a little bit more like kind of, I don't want to say flat, but just kind of like not much moving forward, literally being stopped at a point and having to solve an issue and not really move forward. And that's literally what this whole episode was about. So for that, I give it a ranking of 7.5 out of 10. I mean, still great story, everything's great, but it's just one of those episodes that are just needed for the story. Okay, we're getting into the spoiler territory. Okay, this is a spoiler alert. So if you don't want to watch this, go watch the show, come back, and then we can talk. Okay? Cue the music. See that shoulder? See that shoulder? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, they're screaming. All the people are at the steps. Let them through. Let them through. Let them through. And at first, you're kind of like, let who through? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I thought they already got through. That's what you're kind of thinking. And then we see Teddy come up to his mom's like, what's going on? His mom was like, the Raiders are holding back our deliveries. They're holding back the food. They're holding back everything. Not just the deliveries, everything. They're not letting anything through. That's why they're like, let them through. Let the deliveries through, right? So we cut to Knox and Shirley. They're fine. They're safe, and they're with Martha. Shirley, we see her patching Knox's shoulder up. Remember, he got slapped with that rope. Ooh, that shoulder bleeding. But it looked much worse than they made. They like, oh, but she like, it's a scratch. It's not even that. I'm like, a scratch. That was more than a scratch. But anyway, so she's wrapping him up. He's fine. But Martha's kind of like, forget all that. Like, I wonder if Carla's fine. Like, we don't know what happened. Like, we kind of left her. Like, I know why we left her back in the day. Like, is she safe? Is she in trouble? Is she alive? Like, what's going on? So she's feeling a little like, I don't know what's happening with Carla. So then we cut to, and this is where I'm like, is this the mines, or is it just another area of mechanical? They never specified this is the mines, so I don't think it is, but it just looks so different than everything else, and it's so like dangerous. I'm like, maybe this is the mines that we're talking about, but I'm not sure. But we come to the one who was kind of like Knox's shadow, not officially, but like unofficially Knox's shadow. And remember in the first episode, Knox comes up to him and was like, this is the one in the wheelchair, and he's like, if anybody come up to you, I'm gonna need you to do me a favor. Don't make no weapons for them. If they come up asking for weapons, don't make no weapons. And I need you to do me another favor, right? And we were like, what's that other favor? Okay, let's see what that is. We find out what the other favor is. He said, don't make them weapons, but I'm gonna need you to make us the weapons. He said, don't make them the weapons. Bring them weapons over here. So he's been hunkering down, making these custom weapons strictly for Knox and then Knox's team, which tells you that Knox was always on it. Like, if you ever thought like, did Knox, what did he care, or was he on the good side? he was always on the good side because that was at the beginning. So that goes to show Knox and Shirley. That's our people. Like bottom line, that's our people. Like for real. Okay. Then right after that, Teddy comes in to let them know they're not letting deliveries through. They're not letting the food through. And what's worse, they poisoned the food we do got. They poisoned the food with rat poison. Excuse me? So they're like, all right, now it's getting serious because now you playing with the food. Two things you don't play with: my money and my food. Okay, so that's obviously the situation there. So then we cut to the mayor, and he's sharing with the surveillance raider team that's kind of behind the cameras, and he says, and I'm gonna quote, he says, "Only 9 missed meals separate a functioning society from chaos." I'm assuming this is a part of the order, which questions me about the order. Like, what was y'all plan? Like, so that the top fights the bottom, kills out the bottom, and then the top parts of the top still need to become the bottom anyway. Like, what is the outcome of all this? Because you still need a mechanical running system. So what, you just do it over and over and over again? I don't know what the plan was of the order, but we try and break this order. Okay. So we cut to Patrick. Remember, Patrick Kinney's the one that got shot, who was in the hole. He's like, I'll tell you what you want to know and tell you what you don't want to know. So we got the Dr. Shadow there to take the bullet out. And they like, you could do this, right? He like, yeah, but he don't seem confident. He don't seem confident at all. So he about ready to take the bullet out. Patrick like, hold on. I need, it's over here. I need drugs. Like, what you talking about? Like, you need to numb me. Like, you about to go digging in, pull her right on out. What are you doing? He like, I got aspirin. Aspirin? No, sir. I'm gonna need y'all to give me a real doctor, is what Patrick's saying. Okay. So we cut to Deputy Hank and Sheriff Paul Billings speaking. And Deputy Hank's kind of like, so you gonna arrest him? Like, when you find the two, you just gonna arrest him? Like, Deputy Hank's kind of like, yes, we have our duty, but at the same time, I'm gonna do what I gotta do because that's my job, that's my duty, that's my position. But at the same time, like, something bigger is happening, and they didn't do this. And meanwhile, while he's speaking, Sheriff Paul is sending a message to his wife Kathleen, and basically like, look, we need a doctor, we need a unofficial, off the record doctor. You know what I mean? We need a doctor, but we don't need people to know we need a doctor. You know what I mean? So send us a doctor. And then he like, and it ain't safe out there. Okay. And then he says to Deputy Hank, he's like, well, if they're this upstanding citizens, these solid citizens, why don't they turn themselves in? And I'm like, because they didn't do it. And not only, I mean, they don't know this, but not only did they not do it, but the people that did it is the people they will be turning themselves into. You know what I mean? Like, this is, you know what? And yes, this is a filler episode. You know, the other overall feeling that I had, idiotic. Like, don't be stupid. You being stupid. Now you being stupid. And he was the one making me more mad. Side note. The whole episode. But anyway, this was the beginning of, you getting on my nerves now. You getting on my nerves, Sheriff Paul. Like, pick a side. Figure out what you want to do. Anyway, so we cut back to Knox and Shirley, and they are in the down deep in the cafeteria. They're on the table, and I love that they flat out was like, we didn't do this. They framed us. We walked in. She was dead. Like, just flat out, I'm gonna tell the people, our people, what is really going on. And they like, we hear you, but they ain't feeding us. So it's like, they're like, how far do we go? Like, how far do we go? Because at the end of the day, we got to eat. And I hear them, but Knox and Shirley like, but there's bigger fish to fry. And they like, but we trying to eat that fish that you try to fry. So Martha stands up and is like, look, basically trying to calm them down. Like, what are we going to do? Send them out to the woods? This is our people. And Martha made the point of like, this is what they want. They want us to fight against. Look, that's what's happening right now. That's what's happening right now in society. They want us to fight against each other, and Martha's like, but this is a class problem, this is not against each other. This is a class system problem, and the upper is trying to, I'm not gonna go into. If you want my opinions on stuff, you need to go watch the podcast. We don't do that over here. You need to go watch the Cut and Paste podcast, and we talk about stuff like that over there. But I'm just saying, it's what's happening in the real world. So basically, Martha's like, we gotta calm it down, and they like, we hear you too, But like we ain't eating. When people don't eat, the minds they don't know how to push through it. So then Teddy comes in with a big basket of food, and Knox and Shirley is like, we hear you, but we got you too. And here's the thing: this food comes from the top. So even though they blocked the steps with the barricade, there's other ways to get food to us, and the ways was to shoot. So it was a letter inside of one of the baskets from floor 122. Mind you, the barricade is on 130. Okay, let me explain this because I didn't really realize this till like near the end of the episode. So the numbers go from 1 down. So usually, you go into a building, first ground is 1, and then you go up numbers. It's the opposite because they're going down into the ground. So the lower you are, the higher the number. So if the barricade is on 130 and then 122 is here. Does that make sense for those who watch? Or there's no audio. I'm sorry. I'm now thinking podcasts. Get what I'm saying? So this is 130, which is where the barricade is. This is 122, where the food was sent from. Okay. So 122, they dropped the food down the chute to get to them. And in that letter, they said, you got friends on 122, Juliette lives. So it was kind of like, I know you feel like it's just us down here in the down deep, but even on higher ups, like all the way up in 122, people are agreeing with us. So it's not as small of a thing as you think, or we're not as small of a group as you think. And it's like, look, people, we're going to be all right, kind of like convincing thing. And I'm glad 122 sent that type of letter, because I think that did encourage them. But for how long? That's the real question. So we cut to Kathleen. Remember, Kathleen is Sheriff Paul's wife, and she meets with Dr. Pete, and she's been just carrying that baby around. She ain't got no babysitter, so it's just her and that baby, okay? And she goes to Dr. Pete Nichols and is like, look, I need a favor, and I need you to come down. I need you to go and help, but I'm gonna need you to not tell nobody that you're helping, because this is off the record. And it goes to show why we needed to see some of his. See, this is what character development is very important, and that's usually the case with filler episodes, is that it's mostly character development. But seeing his process of breaking this allegiance to the order and more of an allegiance to the code of conduct, or the code of being a doctor, because maybe he wouldn't have agreed to doing this with the mindset he had before. But I think after getting the stuff from the mayor about his daughter, and helping that lady actually allow her to become pregnant instead of taking the pill out. So it's like things like that is making him think differently. And he needs to, because his daughter is already on it. Okay, she's the one fixing the situation. So he needs to hop on board before whatever. So I think that's what allowed him to agree with Kathleen to go and help Patrick with his gun wound. Okay, so then we cut to the mayor, and he's being told about the chutes, about them 122 sending the food down the chutes, and then he says, "Oh, perfect! Earlier, they're earlier than scheduled." Earlier than scheduled. So this is part of the order's process. The order, I think he's like, we're weeks ahead. So the order already had this in plan that we're gonna stop the food, and so there's something going on. And he was like, all right, I want you to post raiders at every shoot. So Diego, this is a new character being introduced into the story. He's one of the main people sitting at the surveillance cameras screens. But he turns around with a look like something right look. Now, I don't know where he stands, and later on we'll talk about why I'm a little confused on where he stands. Like, I don't know if he's feeling something in his heart or feeling something just in his with logic. I don't know, and we're gonna talk about that in a bit, because he comes back up a little bit. I think we'll get more firmer answers about where Diego stands in the episode to come, but we have a little bit more to come with him in this episode as well. So then we go back to Knox and Shirley and Teddy sitting at the table, and they're eating, and they're just kind of like, okay, now what? Okay, yeah, we ate today, but what about tomorrow? Like, what now? Like, and they're like, well, the barricade is at 130. How about we go up to 120? Now, at first, you don't really know why they're thinking that, and then later on, it's explained why, and we'll talk about it then. But you kind of like, okay, why? What's their agenda of pushing it? past 1:30, but we'll find out a little bit later. So hold on, coffee break. Come on, girl. Oh yes. So we cut back to Sheriff Paul and Deputy Hank, and they're at Martha's house, and they're like, Sheriff Paul's kind of like, so what's going on? Like, what happened? Like, we want your perspective on what happened with Sheriff Knox and Shirley, because we heard what happened, but we need to hear it from you. And Martha's like, no, you ain't gonna hear nothing from me unless I hear something from Carla. I need to know what happened to Carla. Is Carla good? If you come back with news about Carla, then I'll give you news about what's going on here. So boom, shut the door right in their face. Like that's the end of the. And Martha is probably one of the best characters because she just mean what she say what she mean. She don't sugarcoat. She don't hide. Actually, all the Down Deep is really like that. They really don't be sugarcoating. But Martha is like the top of that, and I love her for that. I love her for that. So we get back to Dr. Nichols and Kathleen, and they get to, so they I don't know how far they are. I don't know what level at the top they are. I know they're on the topper levels, but I don't remember how far. I wish I had a maybe next episode I'll try to find a list or something that can break down the floors a little bit better. But I know they're higher up, but I don't know how far they are from level 130 where the barricade is. So they're at the barricade and they're like, we need to get through, but they're like, we're not letting nobody through, up or down. We're not letting nobody through. So they make up a lie, talk about somebody's pregnant and there's only 2 doctors that can do a C-section and you want to be a part of that problem? And she like, and you breaking code, blah, blah, blah. It's a lie code she made up. So they're like, all right, just let them through. We ain't trying to get in trouble, just let them through. So they go through. Mind you, all the people still there acting crazy. But anyway, they was able to get through. She got her baby and they pushing through. Okay. So then we cut to Lucas and the mayor, and they're discussing, and he's still trying to figure it out and trying to decode Salvador Quinn's message and letter. Not really much there. They're just trying to like figure it out, or maybe it's this, maybe this. Okay, try this, maybe shift it over, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So then Mayor Bernard, after he leaves from him, he goes to Camille. So this is where I'm a little confused, and you'll see why a little bit in a bit. So Camille Sims, that's Robert Sims, Judge Robert Sims' wife. I think this is out. They're just like the paperwork people, like, you know, database people. And he goes straight up to her desk like, I heard you was the one that let the 2 out. Dang, right there, broad daylight. Right out in the public. She like, so then she basically pulled a catch-22, kind of like, I helped 2 citizens. I don't know what you're talking about. And so she basically used a law loophole to get herself out of. She ain't really out of it, but like enough to shut him up, like enough where he couldn't really go any further because she's not. Listen, I didn't like Camille in the beginning, but I'm slowly starting to like Camille a little bit more because when she did what she did last week by helping them, tells me she knows something more and she knows something deeper. And this is where I'm realizing she's shifting because after she got him in the loophole, the mayor's like, I wonder how Robert Sims feels about that. And she like, he the judge, so it don't even matter what he feels. You know what I mean? She didn't say it like that. She didn't say it with the attitude. It was just kind of like, he's the judge now. But from what we know, he doesn't know because she didn't tell him. But why didn't she tell him? So I got some ideas on what I feel about what's going to happen with them too in the future. We'll talk about that in predictions. So, because I'm starting to feel a little bit different about Camille as we're moving forward. So we'll see. I think something's going to happen in times to come. Okay. So then we go to Knox and a small team. They're now at the barricade. They got the weapons that we saw them make. They came out, told the people, come on out. We'll take it from here. Go on to eat. We'll take it from here. So they all go to eat. Then this smaller group of people, they standing at the gates, quiet. They got their weapons. Listen, Knox and Shirley. I mean, it's just Knox right now, but Knox and Shirley, man, that's the people. Okay. So the Raiders are, something. They got weapons. All right. Get the guns. First of all, why you ain't had the gun already? I ain't trying, root for y'all, but y'all supposed to already had the guns out. People acting crazy. So all right, go ahead and get the guns. So then we cut to Diego, and he receives a message. Let me get the message here. I'm gonna read it. Let me make this bigger. So it's a message from Doreen, And it says Diego, armed greaser gang headed up to barricade. Also saw a small gang head away from stairs. One of the thugs, not thugs. And then it's Teddy Black. I don't know what the racism going on. Anyway, one of the thugs had a rotary, I think that's a rotary concrete saw, Aunt Doreen. So that's his aunt, which you couldn't really see. Well, I didn't recognize it said Aunt Doreen when I first looked at it. So he gets that message that somebody's they got a saw, something they up to something. So then he leaves his seat and goes to Robert Sims. So this is where I'm like, why did you go to Robert? Like, why didn't you go to the mayor? But I don't know, maybe he just trusts Robert more. But the thing is, even Robert, as even though he does bad things, isn't a bad person. And I know that's kind of weird, but even the mayor is complicated too. The mayor is bad, but even he's complicated because his reasoning of why he's doing things is also kind of strange. Anyway, point is, I'm like, where's Diego's mindset and why would he go to Robert instead of the mayor? Like, what's his agenda? I'm not sure. Maybe he just has more loyalty to Judge Robert Sims because he's worked with him before in the past for so long. So he tells him, look, they're at 1:30. They're at the barricade. He's like, yeah, I already know that. He's like, no, but what you don't know is that they got a concrete saw. He's like, ever since the cameras went out from 120 down, we've been relying on listeners. But I'm like, when did that happen? I don't remember them speaking about that. Maybe I missed something. Maybe it was in season 1. The cameras went out from 120 down. Or is it that they bashed all their cameras out because they know they were listening? I'm kind of, that's where I'm a little confused. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, he like, I don't trust that, but I do trust my aunt. And my aunt said she saw the thugs with the concrete saw. So he's like, uh-oh. So then we cut to Teddy cutting through the concrete, and he pop on right on out. So we like, uh-oh, it's about to go down. It's about to go down. So then we go back to Robert because he's like, oh, I need to go tell the mayor. He gets to the mayor's office. He knocks on the door. And he answers. He busts through the door. Guess who's sitting there? Lucas. He like, what you doing here? You're supposed to be in the mines, baby. You're supposed to be in the mines. What's going on here? Look, Lucas like, I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm asked to do. He like, all right, well, where is the mayor? He like, I don't know. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. So Robert and we're going to talk about what I think is going to happen here. But so now Robert knows Lucas is doing something. Lucas is doing something that he ain't supposed to. Well, he's doing what he's supposed to do because he's told to do what he's supposed to do. But he ain't doing what he's supposed to be doing. Okay? So then Robert goes to his wife and give her a look like, I need you over here. She like, uh-oh, let me get on over there. So we cut back to Dr. Nichols and Kathleen, and they have reached Patrick. They're safe and sound. They got down there, and then we see Dr. Nichols remove the bullet from Patrick's shoulder. He's like, it almost hit your lung, so you're a lucky man. And so we go back to Robert and Camille, and they're speaking, and basically Robert's like, they're cutting through the floor. Like, I just found out. Yeah. And Camille's like, okay, it is what it is. And see, that is what it is. Energy is why I feel like Camille might be a good person. And she said something that I really agree with that's kind of reflecting the times we're living in. She said, nothing wrong with people suffering through their own mistakes. Yikes. Anyway, this ain't the podcast. But anyway, if you want to hear my take on things like that, go on the Cut and Paste podcast. Going on over there, get on over there. But to Robert's point, he's like, but to what stakes? Like, to the endangerment of everyone, to the endangerment of my family. Like, how far do we let his mistakes affect everyone, right? So there is that, like, I get that as well. But she's like, but you're the judge now. Like, what can you really do? And he like, that's true. Plus, I was never a raider. And then I'm like, okay, and that's going to come up in a second. Plus, I was never a raider. So what he was just kind of like doing stuff, like just being boss man, but not really having any title. Like, I'm confused about Robert's position. I mean, now it's clear he's a judge. But what was he before? What was he really? So anyway. So then, hold on, I need a coffee break, y'all. Oh yes. Oh yes. So then we cut back to Patrick and the crew down there. And Patrick is being defiant. He like, oh, yeah, I just said all that just so you can get this bullet out my shoulder. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe we'll do it tomorrow. Do it tomorrow. No. So Sheriff Paul's like, excuse me. He did it nicely. But me, I'm like, everybody get on out of here. I got something I need to handle. But he basically was like, everybody get out. He didn't say it in a mean way, but he was like, everybody get out. Okay? And so he went over to him. He's like, look, either you can tell me or I can tell Judge Sims. Yeah, he's Judge Sims now. And he can put you back in that hole or even worse. He's like, okay, fine. I'll tell you. So basically, Patrick just explains that. So I didn't realize everybody didn't see it. So remember, we all saw that they broadcast for 10 seconds the beautiful outside world onto the screens. And so many people saw that, and it was up for about 10 seconds, but they was able to take it down. He said it was like millions of times more beautiful than that image, that piece of paper that we saw. So you thought that was beautiful? Imagine, he's like, I can't even explain and he wouldn't be able to explain because they don't know anything about anything before the silo. So it's no way he could have known. So he tells them, he's like, and then, I mean, they got rid of anybody who saw it. They erasing people's memories, doing all these separate things. And he's like, and then he explains the situation on his case. Like, look, they got me to, I guess he told about Robert. Did he even bring up Robert's name? Or did he just explain? I can't remember the clip. I got to go back to it. But point is, he explains what happened. Like, I wanted to get my memories erased. Dave was like, all right, do the whole bomb thing. This is a situation that happened with the Cooper, blah, blah, blah. So now the sheriff knows some truths of what's going on. Now he knows something ain't sniffing right. Something ain't smelling right. Okay, he's starting to feel something is not right. Okay? So then we cut to the mayor speaking to Judge Meadows' dead corpse. First of all, her skin is skinning. I'm sorry. Is her skin not flawless? Side note, I know she's dead, but side note. But anyway, basically in tears, and he's in fear of failure. Like, it's, I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to follow the order. I just didn't know. I didn't put you in the equation. I didn't fit you into the equation of the order's plan. I didn't, and he's like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, whatever, just whatever. Cause she was my favorite character and you killed her. So I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm so over the mayor, like, whatever. So then we cut back to Camille, and this is where I'm like, is she a raider? Was she always a raider? I'm confused about that. Like, because when Robert said, because true, I was never actually a raider, but she was. Then what was he doing? That's the only thing I'm like, I need explanation on that. Like, I need clarity. So anyway, she like, they coming through the floor. They gonna be coming through the floor. We need to get on over there, but too late, baby, because there goes Shirley. Shirley and the crew come through. Shirley and the crew already came through the floor. They like on the other side of the gate. So they like, we already up here, baby. We already up here. What you gonna do? What you wanna do? Meanwhile, Knox and the crew, look, I ain't trying to rap, but I'm really rapping. Knox and the crew pull the door down. So they bum rush. Boom, they going through. So they running up the steps. They trying to get to 120, and guess what? They get stopped at 120. They got stopped at 120. So they kind of like, look, you could kill 10 of us, but then we'll kill all of you. Like, there's more of us than you, so you can kill some of us, but then we'll kill all of you, and then we'll take the stairs. Okay, so he's like, how about we do? But the thing is, Knox and Shirley, they're not trying to do that he's just like, look, this is the reality. But Knox and Shirley, they're good people. They're not trying to kill all those people like that. So they're like, can we just have a truce at 120? Can we do 120? So you're still kind of like, why 120? Like, what's special about that? So then This is when we find out why. We cut to Mayor Bernard, and he is not happy. He's talking to the main raider, because main raider's like, all right, we kind of stopped in 120. And he's like, you know why that's a problem? Because what's on 122? He's like, a farm. A farm. That's why they wanted 120. Because why? 122 is the farm. But the farm, they're on their side. So remember, I'm just going to do a little thing here. 130 was the barricade. 122 is the farm. 120 is where they have stopped the barricade at. So they gained 10 more floors here. I don't know what's in the two, because wait a minute, 130. Yeah, so I don't know what's in the two at the top here, but hey, right here, we got ourselves a farm, and they're on our side. And that goes against what he's trying to do. Because for him, remember, he's trying to 9 meals, chaos. But if they get their meals, maybe no chaos or not chaos anytime soon. So we'll see what how that plays out in the next episodes to come. So then the sheriff, he goes back to Martha because he's like, all right, look, I got an update about Carla. She seems to be fine. I'm not sure. She might have been taken into custody. I'm not really sure. And then Martha's like, I don't think she's going to survive because, she has on medication. There's different things. Like, you can do something. Like, you're the sheriff. I know you can help. He's like, I can help, but the only way I can help is if I can prove her innocence, that she has no connection. In other words, I need you to tell me what happened. So we cut to Knox and Shirley. They finally make out. We knew it was going to happen. It's weird. You knew it was going to happen, but they didn't give like firm tension. I guess the only time they gave tension is when they were hiding out, but not really that much. But it looks good. They look good together. I think they'll be great. They're going to be a great couple. But when love gets involved, it gets more complicated. So just putting that out there. But then Sheriff Billing walks in, and he's like, so I want you to tell me, did you kill the mayor or what? I mean, did you kill the judge or what? And they like, we ain't do one of them things. He said it was not us at all. Okay? So then he walks the mayor. So you like, here we go. He's like, I found her. I'm like, what in the world? All this that you're seeing, and then this is what you do? He's like, I found him. So the mayor's like, okay, where they at? He said, I'm not going to disclose their location at this time. Your jaw dropped down to the ground. Listen, the mayor was shooketh. He said, I want you to start a formal investigation on what happened to Judge Meadows. The mayor said, we lost the sheriff. We lost him. And he knows he lost him. We lost him. Okay? He said, disable all the communication. Sheriff like, hello? So sheriff is that is done. It's done. So then Knox said, this is what made me mad about the sheriff. This is because anyway, Knox says, thank you. Like, thank you. I appreciate that. And he's like, why? I don't stand for you or the mayor. I stand for the law. Get over yourself. Get over yourself. I can't. How about you stand for the truth? That's what you need to stand for, not the law. Because that's what we're dealing with right now. So I'm like, whatever. I'm whatever with him, and I'm whatever with the mayor. I'm really whatever with the mayor, though. Especially if him crying over my favorite character. Anyway. So then we cut to Kathleen, the baby, and the sheriff. And they're, sitting together eating. And Kathleen is trying to encourage him. Like, I know you feel bad, but you did the right thing. Like, the right thing is better than anything else. And he's like, And she's like, when's the last time you've taken your herbs? And he's like, and she's like, look, like, basically, like, you're not shaking. You haven't had any syndrome effects in a while. And at first I'm like, it's because he stopped taking the herbs. No, I think it's the herbs. And he's like, why do you think that is? She said, perhaps you changed. And I think and then remember, if we call back, I think 2 episodes back, when Judge Meadows says that, because remember, he revealed, I have the syndrome. And she's like, it's not natural for us to be underground. I think it's less about the being underground that is making him have the syndrome. But I think it's more of the stress of being underground without knowing the why, the who, the what, the where of everything else. But the more answers he's getting, the more his mind is actually being, so although it seems like more hectic, the more knowledge he's receiving, it's actually on his heart and mind becoming more at peace. And that's what I believe is allowing his syndrome effects to lower. So it's weird. In the first season, Kathleen was not giving me what I thought she was going to give me. But in this season, she's starting to really become like one of those characters that you really, really like. Okay. So then we cut back to Lucas and the mayor, and they're trying to break down the code. They're trying to figure out, what is this code? What is this message inside of this letter? We're trying to figure it out. So then the mayor's like, okay, you're not really going to really be able to fully figure it out until you see the legacy. So he's like, the legacy? I don't even know what that is. Neither do we. We don't know what that is. So he jumps up. He gets the order. I'm assuming it's the order. He gets the order. He said, I'm making you my shadow. Now what in the... When I say he just be making anybody anything, he's like, are you the judge now? You the shadow now? Like, what in the world? So now Lucas is safe because obviously now he's the mayor's shadow, so he ain't going to jail. So he's going to be good. We really like Lucas a lot. He's just stuck in a really hard position. Now he's really stuck in a really hard position. So now Lucas is going to be the mayor's shadow, which is okay. We'll talk about it. Anyway, so then we cut to Dr. Nichols, and he's speaking with Martha, and he was like, "Were you the one who got? I'm hearing that you were the one who gave her the tape. Is that true?" And she's like, "Yeah, that was me." And he's like, "Do you think she's still alive?" She's like, "No." And he's like, "Well, why are you giving us false hope?" And she's just like, "Cause we need it down here. We need it down here. And also I just don't think she would want us to see her die on that hill." Like, and I mean, I see that, and it makes sense. And he's like, "So you don't think she's alive?" I think she's like, "No, I don't think she's alive." I think deep in her heart, she does think she's alive. I think deep down, she feels she's alive. But she's just using logic. Logically, she actually would be dead. And as we know, the only reason why she's alive is because she was able to get into another silo and take her helmet off. But they don't even know there are other silos. So to think there's anything else that can keep her safe is not logical. So logically, she is dead. But I think deep down in Martha's heart, she feels she's alive. She feels it. She feels it as well. I don't think it's just false hope. I think she do have real hope, but just logically, it doesn't make sense. So then lastly, we cut back to Cole, and Juliette, who we haven't seen all episode. And remember, in the previous episode, she passed out because she had that cut that I told you was going to become a problem later on her arm. And guess who gave her the antibiotics that I said was going to happen? Cole. Okay. I don't know if I want to call him Solo or Cole anymore. But Solo gave her the antibiotics. And it's like I said was going to happen. I'm like, this is going to become a problem and somebody's going to have to do it. And he did it. So she's going to be fine. But he's a problem. And I think we're going to talk about what I think is going to need to happen. But she's like, okay, she barely waking up. And she's like, all right, where's my suit? Like, I got to go. Like, where's my suit? And he like, I'll give you the suit back after you fix that pump. Now, see, now he playing games now. She like, so now they start going back, bickering back and forth. Like, and he like, the faster you fix my pump, the faster you can go. Like, and she like, so you versus 10,000 people? Like, what are we talking about? So they're back and forth, and he's just like, I don't want to hear it. So then we cut, and then it's over. Here's my predictions. She gonna have to kill Solo. I'm sorry. I don't think Solo's gonna. I think at heart, okay. I think Solo is a good person, but he is broken, and because he's broken, he's a bad person. And he's he's dangerous because of his brokenness and because he's a little screwed in the head for being alone for that long. And because I think it is that child from the beginning, he's stuck in a childhood mindset. So he doesn't know how to work through problems. He doesn't know how to look between 1 and 10,000, right? Because a child doesn't know how to do that. Adult knows how to do that, but a child doesn't. So unfortunately, I think she's going to have to kill him. I don't think she's going to want to, but she's going to have to kill him to get that suit, or just fix it and move on. But she don't have time. So anyway, and she's sick. So I don't know. And was there anybody else actual, like, do they actually work? I think she'll be fine, but who knows? My other prediction is that I think next week is the week. I think next week episode is the episode. Not probably, like, usually the last episode is the best, but when it comes to Apple TV, because they know how to really give you that last good juice to hold on to into the next season. But I think next week episode is the one that we've been like kind of waiting for, like, because we want to see when Juliette somehow connects to the silo. We want to see that connection, and I think we're gonna get that finally in the next episode, but like right at the end. It ain't gonna be like all that. I think that Lucas is going to figure out the code, but I think once he figures out the code, he's going to betray the mayor, because I think right now he's just kind of in survival mode. But I think once he decodes it, he's going to know whatever that message is going to be too big to give to the mayor. And he's going to realize, it's some bigger problems going on. I really think that. To that, I think that Lucas and Robert are going to have a problem. I think Robert's going to be really jealous, because the thing he's been wanting this whole time is to become the mayor's shadow. And then this man from prison becomes the shadow. When he finds that out, he's not going to be happy at all. Talking about Robert and Camille, I think they're going to break up. Not on purpose. Not like officially like we're broken up. I think Camille deep down cares about the truth and the people and knows a little bit of the truth, because she feels the fact that she helped them tells me everything. And Robert cares about his family, and he says he cares about the people, but he's so stuck in like fulfilling the mayor's orders that it's going to be some disconnect. And I don't know how it's going to happen, but somehow they're going to separate in some way. Maybe not break up like relationship. I think break up in just like I'm on this side and you're on this side. And I don't think we can ever really cross again. I think that's going to wind up happening. And then I don't know, Martha and Carla, I think they're going to die. I don't know why. I think they're going to die together. Like, I don't know why. I don't know when, but I have a feeling, and it may not even be this season. It might be in the next season, but I don't think they're going to make it. And I think they might. Either Carla's going to die in Martha's arms, or they're both going to die together, because Martha don't have much to live for. She's just older, and Carla is also on the edge. So I don't know. I don't think they're going to make it. But anyway, that was a lot. The show is really good. Even though this was probably the lowest ranking show, it still was very good. Don't take the 7.5 as bad. It just was low compared to the other episodes, but it was still a very good episode. We got some answers, but we didn't move forward much. But I think next week we're gonna get what we were looking for. Okay. Oh yes. If you have not already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button, because we're gonna keep bringing this stuff to you. That's it.